Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We are here tonight to cast some Overwatch, Boise State's first game in winter for the AVGL Showcase. It will be Boise State going up against New Mexico State, a new opponent we have not faced before, and a best-of-3 matchup. I'm your host, and here to call all of the action, Brenner Bear Lad. This will be a solo cast, so some exciting things to look forward to tonight, because this is also some new Overwatch in the new year and a new patch. So some exciting things to look forward to for these players, and a change up in the meta possibly, with Reinhardt dealing 200 damage within 1.5 meters of his ult, with Cole Cassidy being able to roll in the air. Wrecking Ball can only grapple for 6 seconds. Moira can jump even higher. Hanzo now has kind of a hybrid ricochet arrow with his storm arrow, with them now being able to ricochet. So some exciting things to look forward to for this patch. And to add to all of it, we have a new face on the Boise State roster. Matt Merckx will be taking over the role of main tank. So some very exciting things to look forward to for this matchup tonight. And of course, to give all of these players an edge, we will throw it over to Doc's Keys to the game in Overwatch. So for Doc's Keys to the game in Overwatch, of course, what does that mean? It means to never take a fair fight. What does that even mean? It means to take fight in unexpected places when they are unprepared. And of course, tempo, tempo, tempo. Oh, which is so important, because taking the fight where you want to and when you want to leads to wins most of the time. And of course, Doc's Keys to the game is brought to us by Drop In Gaming. Drop In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play through your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. And to begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up. dropingaming.com. Again, this is the AVGL Showcase, with New Mexico State taking on the Boise State Broncos. So the New Mexico State Aggies, a new word I've discovered today as we take a look at these two teams. So we are very excited to see what these two teams can bring to the table. New Mexico is something Boise State has never faced before, so we know that they're going to be bringing their A game. So New Mexico State is going to have an uphill battle for themselves tonight. And of course, with a new face, that brings us to our lineup, with Matt Merck taking on that role of main tank, with Kel on the off tank, Plato and Gob on the DPS roles. Now Asu and a large bagel on the support roles. Of course, our lineup is brought to us by Count, and Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables personalized customer experience for more than 9,000 leading brands. So they are bringing us our lineup tonight, and we are getting ready to jump into this matchup of the AVGL Showcase. And being a best of 3, we're going to kick things off on Control with Nepal heading over to Hybrid, and then if we make it to a Game 3, it's going to be Escort, and loser will choose the map pick. So kicking things off with Nepal. And on the Shrine map, this is going to be very open. We're not going to see anything like a Roadhog to go for those environmental kills that we see on the other maps of Nepal that he is just very strong with. So with a newer meta as well, we expect Boise State to possibly go with a Sim Brawl, with trying to get to the point as quickly as possible. Maybe New Mexico State's going to pull that strat, because it has been the meta for so long. The Sim Brawl just allows so much DPS with her additional turrets to get that slowing, and her ult with the Photon Barrier just denies so much damage. It allows you to take fights where you want to, which we talked about in Doc's Keys. Tempo, tempo, tempo. These teams could also just be going full speed ahead and try to just run over each other, or kind of in snowballing, but we're not playing Assault here. We're playing Control, so they want to take this point first. And as we talk about how it so often is, the objective's greater than kills. Overwatch is a team game, so as we are kicking things off, we can see that already. Mexico State's playing very tightly together with Boise State, trying to take them from all angles. And already Plato's going to get the first elimination onto Nova, with Meow King getting the res, and Plato making sure to get that refrag and take down the Mercy. So losing their secondary heroes, New Mexico State's already playing on their back foot, quickly followed by Gucci taking down Nova, as well as Exile. Gucci, I believe, is Gob as well, with Bagel getting one of the final eliminations onto Dragonheart. So now with no main support, New Mexico will end up falling with ML on that off tank. So New Mexico is going to have to reset. Boise State wins the point and start building building that percentage. It seems that on the side of New Mexico, we will also see some roster change-ups with Jivey now on the Soldier, and Nova on the Cole Cassidy. So DPS aren't going to be able to charge those ults for a while, whereas on the side of Boise State, they're all above that 50% mark with Bagel very close behind. So Boise State definitely looking for a solid advantage here. And Matt Merck doing that wrecking ball chaos that we all know and love, trying to disrupt New Mexico. Focus downs the Baptiste, and there goes Dragonheart losing the main support. New Mexico is not looking good, but they will go in for the res. But Kel is there with an answer to take down Nova, making sure that they always have the advantages, and Matt Merckx goes in with the mines to take down Exile, quickly followed by Jivey taking down Plato with the Helix Rockets, and Kel finishing off ML, Gucci taking down Meow King, Matt Merck finishing off Dragonheart, and Asu taking down Jivey. Believe that was close to a team kill, with Dragonheart just spawning in time to keep his team alive. Boise State taking a very aggressive push there off in the side room will get them to that 60% marker. So New Mexico State, if they can play fast enough, they might be able to have 1 or 2 team fights. It all depends on how long they take for these rotations. Seems like they're just going to go right down the middle with ML swapping over to the Roadhog. Mexico State now able to build a lot of ult charge. Will use their amplification matrix right off the bat to zone out Boise State. So the duplicate will come out from Gucci, and that will simply not be enough. He will get taken down very early on. So the Gravitative Flux will come out, as well as the rally, and that will lead to a team wipe for Boise State, using their ults to counteract the one ult of New Mexico State, with Dragonheart using the amplification matrix. So once again, they will do roster changes. We're preventing that ult charge that they need so desperately to win a single fight here. They're not even trading at this point, even with having the Mercy so early on, and with Exile going right in to Gucci with those mines, will get taken down, with Matt Merck getting a 2-piece elimination onto the sports, and Boise State is going to finish out this first matchup with a team wipe against Mexico State, showing such a dominating performance for their first winter match in Overwatch. We know these players were practicing Overwatch over the Christmas break as well, and now with a new lineup with Matt Merck joining the roster, they're seeming as strong as ever coming right out the gate. So now switching over to the indoor map, it seems Mexico State is going to stick to this Roadhog, because this is where he's going to shine, getting those environmental eliminations. It's going to be the point of contention we're going to want to watch, whether Boise State takes the high ground or goes right to the point. That rotation point is so key, because you have that little extra of time of, all right, we can try to get an early elimination so we can guaranteed win the point, rather than just it's an all-out blitz on the point. So we're going to see a ton of roster changes on both sides, with now Matt Merck on the Rhine. Kel's going to stick to that Sigma, but Plato's now on the Cole Cassidy. Gucci is on the May. Asu's taking over that role of main heals on the Baptiste, with Bagel sticking to what we know and love him for, that Lucio. There, Boise is going to get walled off by that May, but makes sure to break through very early and gets first blood, with Plato taking down Nova, and quickly followed by ML taking down Matt Merck. Exile is able to take down Asu, whose immortality field, so that immortality field is not able to save the Rhine in time. Already Mexico State is going to go over to the point and able to cap it first with a little contention, so ML will even get the hook environmental elimination onto Kel, with Meow King finishing off Bagel, and Plato able to pick off ML, even charge the Deadeye so early on, which leads to the elimination of Meow King. With being down the main support, Boise State can roll right in and gets a 2-piece onto the Brig as well as the May. Boise State taking over this point very quickly, only allowing New Mexico State to charge about that 20% as they take down both Nova and Exile. So now pushing up against their spawn wall, trying to push into their spawn no less. Matt Merck getting very aggressive, does get walled off, but they make sure to break that down so he can retreat if need, as Bagel takes down ML. The pressure onto ML, just pushing up barely too far, not having any barriers on the side of New Mexico State, is definitely costing them, as Matt Merck and Asu just proceed to charge into the enemy team, taking down Nova and Dragonheart, then Jivey. Plato's getting that final elimination. Boise State trying to back off now. The ult percentage is even, waiting for the next New Mexico State push to come in. They do have mines online, but Boise State does have an answer for it with the amplification matrix to try to line of sight them, and they will throw it down for this engagement as Matt Merck goes right into the action. Gucci will get the first elimination, quickly followed by Matt Merck with the flame strike onto Dragonheart, and now with those new patch notes deals the 200 damage to Jivey right within that 1.7 meters of himself, and Exile does end up taking down the behemoth of Matt Merck with his grappling hook speed, but will simply not be enough for the New Mexico State to get a push in, with Plato poking them from the side as well. Does not lead to elimination, but does make them have to just take that much more time to recuperate, so they will charge in with the Coalescence. one of their fuels they do have, quickly followed by their very own Blizzard, but it seems Matt Merckx will just barely be able to make it out alive with very little HP, but Asu is there with the heals from across the side, and Plato will end up matching them with his own Deadeye, will end up picking out Dragonheart, quickly followed by Matt Merck, also taking down Meow King, Kel taking down ML, Asu taking down Exile. So close to that team wipe, but Kel's going to finish off Nova. Being so close to their spawn, they're going to be coming back very quickly, but Merck is able to scout out that Mei and take her down. So Boise State having a very dominating on this second map of Control. And we will be headed over to Hybrid after this, but Map Loser will take the point. New Mexico State has enough time for this final push with 95% on the board. Asu takes down Nova. Gucci takes down Meow King, being down main support. Her is the end of this push with Matt Merck taking down Dragonheart, losing that Lucio speed. No one's going to be able to make it, even throwing down the Amplification Matrix to take down ML in time with that Roadhog. So they're just going to use every ult they have to zone him out with the Blizzard and Deadeye, and Boise State will come away with a clean 2-0 victory for this first Control map. Very dominating first game of this winter season, with the play of the game going over to Kel on the Sigma. I believe it would be with this Grativic Flux in the first match, taking down the Immortality Field, quickly followed by him taking down Exile and assisting with 2 more of the Dragonheart, and Nova and Meow King make that 3. So that was a 4-man Grativic Flux, so very good for Kel getting that first play of the game. And of course, here at Boise State, we're always looking for talented players, production, and broadcast talent. And of course, with top talent along comes with good grades and eligibility, where you can earn scholarships as well. And make sure to sign up today at boisestate.edu/esports for more information, where you can even join our Discord server and get in contact with us and start asking questions. Well, that first match was a very dominating force for Boise State, but now going over to Hybrid, it is going to be Map Loser choice, so we'll have to wait and see what the Aggies end up deciding on. We've seen a lot of Kings Row being Hybrid. It is the go-to choice, but at the same time, there's other maps such as Blizzard World that we don't see as much in the meta, so maybe with this winter season and the updated patch notes, people feel more comfortable going into Blizzard World to match kind of that verticality, and Boise State definitely showing why they're better in the sky, whereas New Mexico State was taking a Mercy without either an Echo or a Pharah. So we'll have to wait and see if they're going to change that up to try to match the verticality capabilities of Mercy, or if they're just going to stick to her for the res, because they're playing very much closer to the day one meta of we're going to have a main heals Mercy along with the secondary and push in, and it actually will even be Blizzard World. So that's an exciting change here for the Hybrid matchup. Boise State very well known for Blizzard World plays, but it seems New Mexico State, since they lost, this is their map choice, so you have to wonder what strategy are they going to be coming out of the gate with for this map. Hopefully we see the Pharmacy or even an Echo for that matter. ML seems to be sticking with his Roadhog, tends to be that comfortable pick that if you know it well, you can absolutely excel on it, but you have to be able to block your teammates. So as we continue on with the defense, we're also going to see the return of the Mercy along with an Ashe to damage boost, so Pocket and Mercy could be a very dangerous tool in the kit of New Mexico State, followed by the Baptiste as well. So they're definitely going for the high heals stronghold, but being down that barrier could definitely be detrimental if Boise State on the attack, I would assume, decides to Symmetric Teleporter right on top of them. They could easily win that engagement, and they're even going to go secondary tank Zarya, so no barriers whatsoever, just a very strong brawl frontline for New Mexico State. Definitely something we have not seen before with the Roadhog and Zarya. It seems Boise State's also going to match it with their own Roadhog on Kel, and Matt Merck is going to be on the Sigma, but instead Bagel and Maxwell are going to get the first 2 eliminations onto Nova and Jivey, who's going to be the Ashe and the Torp, quickly followed by Kel taking down Dragonheart and Maxwell taking down ML and Inex. So it's going to be a swap for the side of New Mexico for the tank players, but now Nerdy finishing off their own Meow King, so even a comp swap on the side of Boise State. Now Frost and Nerdy coming in, as well as Maxwell, so some new faces for the DPS and healer roles. Both sides changing things up. This is the showcase, so we don't want to see as many players as we can, not just the main roster. So we are already seeing that for Boise State with how far they are pushing up. They kept that point with no contention. They wiped them out. Now they're pushing up all the way up to the checkpoint, but Nova will finally get the first elimination for her team, taking down Frost on that Doomfist, who just pushed up a bit too far, but that is the worst case scenario for a Doomfist. You just go too far deep and have no team members to follow you up. Not so many members of Boise State are that dive comp. It's just going to be mainly that Doomfist, but now they're getting free push, free distance for this cart, just pushing with Mexico State just trying to maintain their area, trying their best to protect the turret. Will swap over from ML on that Roadhog over to the Sigma, so they at least have one barrier. Still will end up losing that Jivy's turret, however. Dragonheart is there with the melee to take down Matt Merck. Boise State playing very guerrilla warfare tactics of just you go here, I go here, and split push. But from every single angle, so here comes Nerdy to boop away that Zarya, but Valkyrie coming out for Meow King, quickly followed by the whole hog coming out for Kel. Will get stunned out of it, quickly followed by Bagel taking down Inex, but Meow King is there with the res as the amplification matrix comes out for New Mexico State, quickly followed by the Molten Core trying to zone out Boise State the best they can, but instead Maxwell will be there to take down Bob, called in by Nova, quickly followed by Kel taking down ML. Boise State getting very split apart, but is able to out-sustain New Mexico State so far, even with their two main heals. Frost is there to take down INX once again, and with no res to bring him back, Bagel will take down Dragonheart, quickly followed by Jivy taking down Bagel with the refrag. Make that two, taking down Frost as well, not even with the turret. His own right-click gun, which was a recent change, only takes 2 ammo rather than 3, but Kel is there to take down Dragonheart, or Meow King, quickly followed by Matt Merck finishing off Nova. They do get the checkpoint, so that's even more time on the clock, which they simply don't need because they're at 5 minutes right now. Frost will have to go back so he can continue pushing the cart because no one else was there. As Maxwell now swaps over to the Widow, trying to pick off as many as he can, but ML with the 1v1 wins it against Matt Merckx, but Kel is going to pull out the whole hog and take down the turret, but that is the best he can do with that. So now Jivy is going to answer him with his own Molten Core to try to zone out Boise State, buy them just that much more time, but Kel will catch a Sleep Dart as Frost activates his Meteor Strike to try to get into that backline and pick off the healers. But Kel is there with the pick onto ML. So now Matt Merck makes sure to take down that turret so they can push freely without having to have that split priority. So now New Mexico State's going to kick things off with a grab, but only leads to the elimination of Matt Merck, quickly followed by Nerdy with the boop onto Inex, which actually leads to the elimination. Must have been very low health. So Boise State having that target priority of calling it and going for it. We did see that Ana falling to very low half HP, but that Annonade will keep Nerdy from healing up until now, but Nova wins the sniper battles against Maxwell with the help of the Dynamite, and he burns them down. But now Bagel makes sure to answer that by taking down ML once again in that front line. Meow King is there with the res as Jivy takes down Nerdy. The card's so close to this final checkpoint. They do have the spawn advantage though, so Boise State's going to have to get a near team wipe if they want to be able to win this. Gratificate Flux coming out for ML, but will get hooked out of the sky and meleeed by Kel, who continues to do the same thing to Meow King, quickly followed by Bagel taking down Nova. Matt Merck takes down Jivy, a near team wipe, but Inex is there to finish off Frost, but gets taken down by Bagel in the final moments. So now Boise State getting all 3 checkpoints with a ton of time remaining on the board. 3 minutes and 53 seconds. A dominating performance. So now New Mexico State's going to have to come in out the gate with some very strong, aggressive plays if they want to be able to roll over Boise State like they just got rolled. So now Mexico State's going to have to bring out a team comp that they are very comfortable with, that will have the answers to the comp that Boise State has been bringing, which is very mobile and high DPS with good sustain on top of that. Boise State really well-rounded here, even after the comp of Plato and Asu on the heals, as well as Gob swapping out for Maxwell. So with Boise State kind of on their secondary sub roster, it seems that they're just doing just as strong. This is a showcase, however, so both teams doing their best to just warm up for the coming winter season in the AVGL for this showcase. As we look over on the side of New Mexico State, they're only going to make 3 major changes actually to their comp, with ML now on the main tank of the Reinhardt. Inex is sticking to that Zarya. Jivy now on the Cole Cassidy, whereas Nova sticking to his Ash plays, which he did very well on, and Meow King giving up that Mercy that wasn't getting as much value as you want to see from a Mercy. He, with that damage boost and res, is going to swap over to the Lucio so that they can try to take those engagements with, as we mentioned, Dux, he's tempo, 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 and Lucio is the definition of that, not just for himself being a DJ. No pun intended was there, but he does determine the pace of the game with his speed boost as well as his healing. Now, alrighty, the Discord orb is going to go on to Nova, so you know what Boise State's priorities are. And already, Max are going straight onto the backline, onto that Baptiste. Will not be enough because the Immortality Field comes out. So that is a cooldown that Boise State can play around as Matt Merckx is there to join him. Boise State going a hybrid dive right now, trying to call their targets and go right on top of them. ML falling low, Jivy falling very low, and Jivy will get the first elimination, actually, onto Matt Merck. Quickly followed by Frost getting the charge punch onto onto Jivey with that refrag, but Nova is there with their own refrag. Quickly followed by Inex taking down Nerdy and Bagel taking down Nova. This is back and forth for these two teams, but Bagel makes sure to even it out by taking down ML, but Inex will be there to take down Kel as well as Bagel. So it seems to just be you take two, I take two. Maxwell takes down Dragonheart. See if he will be able to get one more to continue this pattern. Mattmark doing their best to stall, burning as much time as they can, but the point was capped very quickly by New Mexico State. The cart is already moving, but they're not able to take nearly as much space as Boise State did on their side, but Inex is there with an elimination onto Nerdy, who was caught out on rotation. So Maxwell once again going straight into that Baptiste, trying to annoy him the best he can as a tracer. Will force out the Immortality Field, but he's already going back towards the spawn, trying to scout him out. And the Cole Cassidy is there as well. Maxwell's being hunted down. It seems Boise State's own Frost will swap off that Doomfist over to the Ash, so we will see the battle of the snipers coming out here. Maxwell doing his best in the backline. Does have the Pulse Bomb, but we'll have to try to bait out that Immortality Field if he wants to secure that elimination onto the Baptiste. Kel here in the 1v1 with the Ryan. Now it is a 3v1, getting stunned out, but will be able to heal out of that. Fan the hammer, but Matt Merckx gets in the backline and with a ground pound takes down Nova, quickly followed by him taking out Dragonheart, and Kel activates the whole hog right in ML's face and takes him down. Boise State applying pressure, pushing them back into their spawn. New Mexico State's just going to have to go for the reset here. Aggie's not looking too well going up against the Broncos, but here in the ult economy, New Mexico State has the 4-2. Is going to open things up with the Deadeye, but instead Matt Merckx is going to open up with his own mines and deny that push, and Jivey will not be able to get one as Matt Merckx picks up his third here, taking down Dragonheart, preventing New Mexico State from leaving their spawn. Taking out the main heal so early on just kills your push. They are very close to spawn, so he can come back very quickly, but Matt Merck taking down Jivey and Bagel taking down Meow King will not allow New Mexico State to even pass this archway. The cart did, but they will not anymore as Matt Merckx takes down Inex once again. Boise State taking the high ground. They will no longer be able to take their spawn. This is where you want to see kind of a comp swamp for the side of New Mexico State. Even with the ult advantage, this is where you use the ult and maybe even go for the team swap unless you are not able to win this fight. As Maxwell goes straight in onto Jivey, who's only at the 50% for the Deadeye. Didn't even have his flashbang, has his back turn, but instead Inex is there to re-answer that with an elimination onto Nerdy, and Nova takes down Bagel, so no heals left for Boise State. This is where you want to see New Mexico get aggressive as Nerdy swaps over to the Mercy, but Frost is there with an elimination onto Dragonheart, quickly followed by Maxwell taking down Nova, but Inex is there, as well as with Jivey taking down both DPS from Boise State, as well as Matt Merckx taking down the main tank, but Nova is there to get the refract for his teammate and even get the shotgun elimination onto Kel with the coach gun. So now New Mexico State finally on the point, making progress here. It's Bagel as well as Nerdy, the two supports eliminated so early on in that fight, come back to try to contest the best they can, but if they get picked off here, could be detrimental for Boise State in this final team fight for this checkpoint. As Bagel does get a very early pick with the help of Matt Merckx onto ML being damage boosted. Zenyatta is terrifying as Matt Merckx goes right in with the mines and gets the elimination onto Nova. Quickly followed by Bagel taking down Dragonheart and Jivey with the Deadeye onto Frost. At least he got value out of his ult, and Bagel takes down Inex. Nerdy is there with the res for Maxwell as Kel finishes off Jivey, and Maxwell takes down Meow King with a two-piece, no less, onto ML, pushing them back into their spawn. Boise State showing why they are doing so well in this matchup. 2 minutes on the board remaining for New Mexico State. Got so close to that checkpoint, but was not able to contest the high ground as much as they should have for Blizzard World, and that ended up them losing that team fight. And now with the ult economy in the side of New Mexico State, they're going to open up with the sound barrier right into the Transcendence for Bagel. So all the support ults coming out to keep the teammates alive, but it seems that Boise State will come out on top with Kel taking down Jivey with a melee, quickly followed by Matt Merck taking down Nova and Frost. With the help of both supports, takes down Meow King. Kel takes down Inex. Maxwell takes down ML. Matt Merck takes down Dragonheart in a practical team wipe here for Boise State. Still having actually tied ults, no less. They do have both the Valkyrie and the mines for the side of Boise State. Matt Merck has been charging these mines faster than most Wrecking Balls I've ever seen. But as well as Mexico State having that grab as well as the shatter could be a huge swing that they need, but their tank is getting caught out with very little support as Kel takes down the Nova in the backline. Make that a two-piece, taking down the other DPS. Neither of the Cowboys are able to survive against Kel with this Roadhog. As Bagel's just in the back lane, raining down as much damage. The whole hog coming out for Kel, leading to a two-piece onto both tanks. The grab did come out, and that was simply not enough as Maxwell takes down Dragonheart. Nova's able to get one onto Matt, but it will simply be rezzed back as Bagel takes down the Brig. Does end up losing. Instead, Nardy's there with the res, and even the Battle Mercy coming out here, taking out Jivey once again is not what you want to see, as the Amplification Matrix even coming out right out of their spawn just so they can have some seconds to live. We do see the sleep coming out onto the Kel. But now Jivey's on the Bastion, so they're just let us out of our spawn, but Boise State is not going to let him. 15 seconds remaining. Kel is even booped off. That was a huge boop. If he had not jumped there, he would have survived. So New Mexico State's going to have to make some progress. 7 seconds on the board. They have to somehow get to the cart. Diva is trying her best of Inex, who swapped off that Zarya, but it will not be enough. 0 seconds. Oh, they actually made it. That's very impressive. I guess the cart came all the way back that they had enough time, as Inex gets a two-piece onto Frost and Nerdy, with Matt Merck finally taking down ML of that main tank. Jivey needs to push up. They need to get the full pirate ship going if they want to be able to get this checkpoint. Overtime's going down. The pulse bomb even comes out to try to de-mech the Diva, and that will happen. Boise State with a clean 2-0 victory against New Mexico State, their first winter game of Overwatch. That's exactly the showcase you want to see as Boise State. And Bagel will be the second play of the game. Kel getting the first one with that Sigma. He was raining damage down from this high ground uncontested for so long because Kel was in their face nonstop. Nerdy flying back and forth, and Kel with a great whole hog to answer the grab from Inex. A fantastic win for Boise State. A great first showcase for this winter semester upcoming. So hopefully we can see this continue going ahead in the season. New Mexico State also played very well. We saw what they could do and how they can improve from there. So good on both teams, but a great 2-0 sweep for Boise State. And of course, as we mentioned prior, Boise State is always looking for talented players, production, and broadcast to join us here. And of course, with good grades and eligibility, you can join us here on the broadcast. And you can make sure to do so at boisestate.edu/esports, where you can even join our Discord and get in contact with us and see where the future holds for you with us in Boise State. Well, of course, we are not done with the broadcast for the night. We do have some fun, exciting, and a secret broadcast that I will not tell you what it is, so you'll have to stick around and see what it is. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We are actually going to broadcast some old Boise State streams for fun to see where we've come from and where we are today. I'm still your host, Brenner Bearlad, and join with me to talk about all these fun times that we've had and are going to continue having is Hayden Vigar here, one of our typical production people, but also has some knowledge of the games, which we will talk about, because one of the first streams we're going to kick things off with is going to be an Overwatch stream from back in 2018. So we'll see kind of what the differences are of we're here in this space now, back then we might not have. So on the production side of it, you're pretty production oriented, I would like to think. So you know a lot of the difference. So going into this kind of older broadcast, kind of a screenshot in time, what are you hoping to see that has improved over time?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be interesting to see. I wasn't here since I started back in like about 2020, so it'll be interesting to see how far we've come and just all the improvements we've made since then, and where we are today. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, you and I started pretty close to the same time, because I started at the start of 2020 in January, right before the pandemic. So we can already see the difference in, well, Dorados will always be the same. Boys, Blizzard doesn't really go in to change that. But you can already see from the caster, it was one caster, which I just did, but it was with a green screen and very different. We had a second caster who was from home without the green screen. You know, we can already see from that production side that's changed. Whereas going into Overwatch, this is 2018 Overwatch, something that you're probably more familiar with than I am, just because I have to keep up with current meta.
The collegiate scene is getting even more heated. I'm super excited.
Especially to see like, yeah, that green screen in there, and then you got the big window for the second caster. Is a cool design take. I don't know necessarily how well it would function.
Yeah, I would also assume the green screen means that they weren't here in this space, because in 2018, I'm pretty sure we didn't have this space.
I believe we were just in, I know Doc's office, and I think the second story in the library area was it. So,
well, because before, at the start of 2020, we were in the education building, and that was second story education building.
Okay.
And then currently we are in the library, and obviously here we are in the downtown arena. So a little bit changes, but Dorado's still the same old, and a lot more opening time on the map. Usually we just kind of jump right into the action, so this is also a lot more build up to it. So really just trying to egg you on with excitement of, all right, is it going to start now? How about now? How about now?
Yeah, we'll say the fly cam's doing such a great job too. It's a lot harder than it looks to make it seem that smooth.
Slow and steady for sure. I've only ever had to do it once, and that was for Siege, which is a very different experience than what Overwatch is. So, and also it's just gotten better with time, which is, I believe we still use the same camera person as 2018. Doesn't Glovely record most of them for us?
Typically.
Yeah, when we do it live, it's just like, all right, we're buying time. Go fly around and have fun. So even transitions are different. We've definitely gotten much further than we have been. And you love to see it, but all by himself has to realize, oh, yeah, we're back on now. You know, right now we have the teleprompter, we have the pause, as well just the meta change. I mean, we still see this every so often, but it's not GOATS. GOATS was a very different time in Overwatch, but it's still 2-2-2.
Yeah, and this was before, I think, Baptiste and Moira, if I'm correct, right? And so we're seeing a lot more traditional supports.
Yeah, it must have been before. If it was before Baptiste, no Wrecking Ball, no Sigma. Orissa's obviously in the game. Maybe Doomfist had just come out or is going to. I also love seeing the UI of Doc's account when he was level 98. Oh, little baby Doc account.
Oh yeah, I find it interesting that we had the cam there for the other caster kind of like higher up instead of like side by side.
So it's like if you and I want to talk together, I have to look down, so he had to be like, hello.
I just need to start looking up now.
Because, I mean, that's how it looks visually, but actually you're just here and here, so. But also, third-person cam for most of the time, which we just did in the Nepal game, so glad to know that hasn't changed. But you can already see in the Overwatch recording UI, like, it highlights who we are watching. That doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's definitely a feature that seems like it'd be very nice to keep track of everything.
The weird changes. Also, Res, when it was, what, 45-second cooldown, now it's only 30 seconds?
Oh, was this after Mercy, her ult wasn't rezzing everyone?
I miss that ult so much. So much. I miss that ult so much. But already a very dominating performance by, what is that, Worcester Poly? So Boise's in the blue. Also, none of these player names are recognizable on our end. So that's just within the 2 years how much our roster has changed, how much the production has changed. So definitely exciting to see how far we've come from that point.
Yeah, no, it seems like we always are getting
one of the
more,
advantages of the defense is that generally you're going to have the high ground
people
advantage.
to join our staff and our players and stuff, which is pretty crazy. Because a lot of these teams, at least for how long I've been here, I felt like we've had the same teams. Like, I feel like we've had the same Overwatch team and the same League of Legends team all the way up until recently. It's like, that's all I've kind of ever known with that.
I mean, yeah, it's been 2 years, so hopefully those players are still sticking around and keeping that skill cap. But also, all of the transitions, all of the graphics are different. That's still the same for Boise State, which is actually kind of funny because everything else is different. You know, at the beginning we saw it spell out Boise, which is something we don't do anymore, as well as it advertised that Hearthstone was starting. We didn't have any of the cams going around the arena, showing off the arena, showing off production. So definitely is more showcase.
Yeah, so we had this in place of Around the World. Oh, I do like that transition, though. That was kind of cool.
That crowded desk. Not even fully on camera. Also, this is when we played Hearthstone, which we haven't been able to do anymore because that's kind of fallen out of the scene. That's a very crowded desk. Hopefully,
Hearthstone's coming back.
Yeah,
we already got a Hearthstone player now.
So we're going to have Hearthstone Battleground playoffs, right? Because Battlegrounds is the best. I play that way too much.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with my Hearthstone, but I know a lot of people are very adamant about it here,
yeah,
especially Gem.
Yeah, I mean, difference between casters, Gem's the only one still around from that desk, and I mean, the caster on the end is half cut off, then there's two more. It's just like, this camera angle does not fit, you got to pull it back a bit. And also the bottom read's different. We don't have Twitter scrolling by or recent news or even the time in the bottom right. Like, a lot has changed from then to now.
Yeah, I do kind of like that hexagon pattern in the bottom right there, though.
Makes me feel like I'm playing Sid Meier's Civilization. Like, I'm just going to, oh, I need to place my city here. This is where my districts go. Like,
just going to see a little troop figure, like, move up on there.
Oh, no, barbarians. Yeah, I had to go with target priorities. Anyway, that was a total side tangent of just hexagons, but very different from what we, even when we cast on desks today, it's only 2 people. We haven't done a 3 desk since the pandemic, and even then it wasn't very often. It was usually just for League, because League requires that many people to just be like, all right, here's all the things for League that we do, and to this day, I can't grasp my head around it, but
yeah, I think since we have this bigger space now, we have a lot more opportunities even with the pandemic, though, just because we do have multiple places for people, and there's always the option for a remote person. But it would be pretty cool to see 3 people on the desk again if we ever get a chance with everything going on. Hopefully
next semester over the summer things change and can move forward excitingly. But also showing current standings in the Hearthstone League with all the teams at the bottom. Ooh, these trends.
The old verses.
I know, this is really time capsule of old verses. Because we change the verses for every league and game we're in. So I would assume, since that's not something specific, yeah, this is different
too. That was cool, actually. But you have the roster. We don't have pictures for the players here, but it shows the game and the roster pop up with one versus button.
Also, all 3 players from Nevada say Phil was taken. So I find that really interesting, whereas Boise State, everything is different. And one says for the Horde, Heresy for the Alliance. Come on now. Anduin, we love Anduin. But definitely exciting to see kind of what Boise State esports was like in the 2018 scene, and hopefully we continue what that's like. Because also back in 2018, my love child of a game, Here's the Storm, was still played. Also, Adam looking very young from. You have to remember, this is 4 years ago, which is really weird to wrap your head around.
Jeez, it's like, yeah, most of these casters, I only saw like the tail end of it, like when I started working here. It's like, yeah, I saw a teeny bit of Adam, and then he was gone like right after that. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's great, and then it was like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah, I've casted with him once, and it was great, but then I never saw him again. I was like, all right. like, we've definitely come and gone. Also, different standings. We usually have a bracket. This is just the schedule, and this is for League of Legends as well.
Yeah, it's like, I think we still have something like that. It's just we either show it like after the stream ends, or it's a lot more condensed.
Yeah, also still maintaining 3 casters on desk, and is that still a green screen behind them? It's hard to tell, but I think so based off the outlines of them. You can usually tell like the haze of a green screen.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. It almost looks like there's like a projector or something back there, but that also could be the green screen itself. But
very, very excited.
Yeah, so continuing with, now it's 1 person on desk, Chair still in shot, and very different camera angles as well. One's like in his face, the other one's like we are right now, a bit further out. So glad to see a lot of changes here.
Yeah, I remember when I first started working production here, like that was one of the big things they were trying to nail down. It's like have both people kind of in the same frame. It's like you don't want to have one zoomed out like that and one close in. So it's interesting to see we've got a lot better about that as we've been going on.
Yeah, you can also hear a bit of the voiceover, and we see player cams for League. This is something we haven't done in how long?
I didn't even know we did that.
There you go. That's how long it's been. Now, I mean, you and I have only been here for the past 2 years, and this is 4 years ago. So this is also a completely different roster. This is a completely different league. See, in 2018, who had just come out in League? Oh, I'm not a League player. I started playing in like 2014 when Thresh came out, so that was a long time ago.
I'm trying to remember. It all starts to blur together after a while.
Well, so they have Azir. This is old Nunu as well. So Nunu's completely changed since then.
I'm pretty sure this was...
Because Brahm's out.
I want to say this is around the time of like Kindred and Aurelion Sol and Talea, but I'm not 100% on that.
One of my many hiatuses I've taken from League, but also like just looking at the sides of like the bans and the state of the game, like people are banning Braum. Oh, my child of this hurts my heart, man. This is old roster too. Not even double support meta. Okay, I'm gonna go on a huge Here's the Storm tangent. This is when you used to be able to see the talents of all the picks. This was single support roster on Battle of... Wow. Immortals as well. Oh. Old Diablo as well going all out. Ooh, this is old talent picks. This is when you just went charge build with Diablo. Oh, I love this. Oh, this is probably old Tyrael. This is old Tyrael as well. Kael'thas still hasn't changed to this day, going convection build with his Q. But if he dies, he loses that quest. Oh, I wonder if this is also the same patch of Heroes of the Storm. When they die, it shows their death timer going down rather than... Yeah, must have been before 2.0 of Heroes. Wow.
Is this before they added like Overwatch characters to it?
Yeah, so Overwatch characters was the launch of 2.0. That's when they also brought out like the loot boxes and stuff. But also, huge change of scenery now. This is casting from somewhere that isn't here. No green screen, 3 casters, can see the players on the stage in the background, all sitting next to each other.
They have enough room this time. For all
yeah, that too. Not shoulder to shoulder, like half in camera or anything like that. Like fully on display. Adam and Gem still hosting it. Over to Rocket League back, just jumping all around too. This must have been a full day.
Yeah, I don't know if this is that same one we just saw. Those 3 casters here, but it's interesting that we would have 3 casters for Rocket League. Oh, we got Ace Pocket here. He was still playing it this time. Wow.
Back in my day, we still had Ace Pocket playing games. Just a huge even the different feel in Rocket League. Like, I'm so used to seeing like 90,000 different cosmetics and types of cars, and these are like, oh yeah, that's like the stock car you start out with.
You got
like,
the stock car, you maybe got a hat on it or something, and it's a
yeah,
trail, and it's
like the
there
bunny
you
ears
go.
in Halo, but it's nothing like, oh yeah, I have the Batmobile, or you know, the Aston Martin DB5 from James Bond, or any of that crazy stuff that they have now.
It's also crazy not seeing either of the UIs that we have for it now. It's like so much simpler, I guess, visually.
Yeah, not as busy on the screen or detailed for that matter.
Yeah, because with the one we have now, it's like, it shows all their stats, if they score, all that. And then this one, it's just got that little spreadsheet in the bottom. It's
Young
like,
Baratel with tiny beard.
Oh, wow.
That's also from the esports practice lab that we had in the education building, because I remember that giant Hearthstone side that we had. And that's a very different feel of the room, because we used to have accent lights all around the room, and now that's just like a matte black. A big change here for also the bottom line change where we have a timer going. So we used to talk in between the matches while they were getting queued.
And so we'd have just a timer while they were waiting, essentially?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I believe so. That's how I'm reading it. As well as the bottom where it says, welcome the story, visitors, starters, keys. Like, it seems like we just had the teleprompter on stream of like, all right, here's how we're going to talk through things.
To be fair, it was very subtle there. So
that too, but it's still just the giant yellow bar at the bottom. At least the matches is sure, but different space, different. Well, we still have some of these casters, but very different times.
It's so crazy seeing Baratel without the big beard. That's all I've ever seen him with. So it took me a minute until you said that was Baratel. I'm like, I didn't register.
Mystery man in the middle.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder who that is.
Another big change, some new faces, but now we're in the arena. But that's when the desk was over there, and now we're up here.
Okay.
Still 3 casters. We used to have a giant TV on the front of this. You can't even see the front of the desk now. The laptop hasn't changed.
Wow.
Glad to know that's still around.
We still got like the stadium itself, like, all the computers up at on the stage set up here.
Still giant beanbags as well. You can see people in the background there.
Oh yeah.
3 casters on desk as well. Giant projector thing on the side. So yeah,
it seems like we've kind of just
jumped forward in time. This is my guess is this probably is like tail end 2019, 2019-ish before you and I got here of just like see the big transition. We were just here when things were all like ready, set, go.
Because a lot of this is familiar, but at the same time it's so different.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a lot of the stage and the big projector there look the same, but just everything else has been moved around it.
Yeah, because you can see in the shot they have the giant blue pillar to the right of the casters, and that means they were all the way over there, which is so weird because we like put up a wall there now to separate for more computers for people to play on. So it's a big change, as well as like they can see themselves on the 4 monitors. Usually we try to cut that out so you don't just see us twice. So
you can see
also Alex is on stage. Koba's on stage.
Alex, oh yeah,
this is what he used to play. This is a long time ago. This is before our time, so it's also really interesting to watch as like, that thing that we were never a part of. That's weird.
Alex's origin story here.
Before StarCraft 2, or after its death. Because it's dead. Anyway, also giant team names, which we don't have during Rocket League matches, and if we do, they're much thinner and matched to kind of the font. Also, when Cosmo Buster played with us.
Oh yeah, Cosmo. He recently graduated, right?
I believe so. His nameplate might even be on the wall.
Oh, okay, he's still around.
Last semester. So this must have been when he just started, because 4 years.
Yeah, he's been around on the Rocket League team as long as I've known it, and I knew he was there before too. So, been there a while.
Definitely, for sure. And all 3 casters, how chaotic it is. And also just different quality of... whoa!
Is this our idea for the arena?
Whoa, big! This is also 2nd floor of the library, so this is the space where our practice arena now is, and that is a very different cutout of Dr. Haskell that I'm used to. They were planning for huge events.
This is pretty insane.
Yeah, this more along the lines looks like a you know, an esports gamer house that we've seen of something like FaZe, Liquid, Optic that they have.
Yeah.
So this on a school campus would be wild.
Yeah. Wow. I did not realize this is what we were kind of going for originally. I don't know if we're still going for that or not, but this is insane.
I also find it interesting how the TVs underneath the computers have League, but then all the side big ones have Overwatch. So it's just kind of a mixed bag here, but esports arena, yeah, we definitely did not go that route because here we are downtown rather than on campus in the library, so that's weird.
Though we are making this place pretty great now. We got those.
Oh, for sure.
We got those movie theater chairs in
Oh, yeah,
here
that we
now.
bought out from the dying movie theater, so we have all those now. So we're still changing to this day. And obviously here on the desk is still changing because one person has rather than 3, and you can see the whole desk. I don't think there's a camera that could show the whole desk. It's heckin' chonk, but back when Alex played League with the League team on stage, it has to be 2018 then.
I believe so. I think that blueprint we were looking at said winter 2018 on it. So
there you go. So it must have been tail end of
2018, if this is from that same broadcast.
Yeah. Oh, Heroes. Oh, I love it so much. Even on, ooh, this is going to test my knowledge of Heroes of the Storm because I haven't played that game in a while.
Yeah,
this is the Ravenlord Towers one. Oh, this would kill me there. I don't know the name of it. But
very little of this.
it's okay. Okay, so this is after Phoenix Side came out. Okay. Wow. Oh, I miss Heroes so much. Different times, different eras. This was like peak Heroes of the Storm as well. Back when they had Tower. Ooh.
So would you say 2.0 kind of went in the wrong direction?
No. 2.0 definitely like carried. It needed 2.0, which definitely helped. But the Overwatch Champions definitely changed the meta. It helped the UI a ton. Oh, this is Towers of Doom. I knew it. It had to come to me. It had to come to me. But ooh, this makes me want to go play Heroes of the Storm. This is also when they still had boss and everything. Ooh, fun times in Heroes. This might have just been after Malphel came, because Malphel came out after Phoenix, if I remember correctly. But he was still very meta. This is also still single support build. Back with old Tyrande, you could go Owl build and just annihilate people from across the map. Old Tyrande Owl build used to be the further the Owl will travel, the more damage it did. So if you threw it across the map, it would just like half people's health. Oh, peak Heroes of the Storm was so much fun.
Just get those snipes of it. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it was the best. This is also old Murden, so everybody built his Q because it was just an infinite quest. The more you hit it, the more damage it dealt. So that was just fun Murden. That was also when he wasn't really main tank, but they still played him that way. Wow.
Okay.
But also no UI layover other than the team names. Usually we try to have player names and stuff transitioning through, nothing along the bottom with rotating ad reads or anything like that.
Is that Hanzo? Or
yeah, so this is fairly recent then.
Oh yeah,
that must have been recent Heroes of the Storm. Yeah. That must have been at the tail end before it died, so probably 2019, there you go. As we get it in from the production. But now we're going back over to Overwatch. Still classic Hollywood, so this could easily be at any point in time in Overwatch with Hollywood in the game. But
yeah, I know. Hollywood's one of those maps that's eternal right now, it seems.
Yeah, Hollywood, we see Dorado all the time. Nepal on Control.
We see King's Row to the dismay of many.
King's Row is one of those maps that will never not be chosen. Like, it will always be chosen because everybody knows how to play that. But at least with the patch notes, we might see some changes coming in here. But also, no HUD or UI for the broadcast at all. It's just raw. Also, that transition. Definitely new as we go from just jumped right into it.
The flight or like viewing the map and stuff without the names on the screen, and then once we get into the first fight, we put them on the banner. That's how we do it. Oh, the fly-through is a video action.
So not even the game starting, it was just its own separate thing. And now that we're into it, the hero names are just kind of floating in space, not attached to the names. And it also says game 2 of 5, which is something we don't do now. And also just Overwatch meta difference of, when you did it, this was GOAT's meta.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
I've heard horror stories about goats.
I stopped playing Overwatch because it was going over to Goats meta, and I didn't like it. But wow,
Yeah,
different times.
I stopped playing before that, but as an Ana Lucio player, I feel like goats would have been the worst thing in the world for me.
I mean, I was a Mercy player back when Mercy was actually fun to play and didn't have Valkyrie. So, you know, she was the cornerstone of every Overwatch team because 5-man res. But
yeah,
that's
like,
how.
Okay, everyone run on site and die, and then I'll bring you back.
Yeah, that's how I got to like Diamond just being the Mercy of, all right, fly and ult. I did my job.
Play of the game.
But you could hear very slightly in the background all of the casters, 3 casters going at once. It was very chaotic.
It's very chaotic, but I feel like at the same time it kind of is hype because of that, you know?
Yeah, 3 casters on desk is definitely, and with Goats meta no less, with no DPS, it's very much of just who falls first with all 3 heals and the giant health bars that the tanks have.
Yeah.
Oh, this must have been also a different time when D.Va has different health and Ryan's still the same.
Oh yeah, is this before D.Va got her like micro missiles and?
Probably.
Okay.
Neither of us were playing Overwatch this time, so we don't know very much, but we can tell the difference between the Boise State UI. The ult seemed twice as big as the player is on the UI for that end.
Oh, and then it
transition over.
Oh, and then we actually had a cam behind the players on the stage instead of to the side.
Yeah, that was also when Thunderhorn, because he's the blue hair on the beanbags. Doc Haskell casting.
Got all 3 on desk again.
Shoulder to shoulder again with the camera cutting people off. Baratel with a smaller beard, but coming into fruition. Also, they moved the desk once again because it went from the left side of the stage, we're on the right, like right up against the wall, or in a different space. This looks like we're in the library, kind of.
I think where it is it's where the arcade machine. Oh, this is a library.
I knew it.
Wow.
Also, Doc Haskell getting very close to the cam, being very happy. We love it. We love to see it. We need more Doc Haskell casting. Come on now. We know he can do it. We got the coach after show. He can definitely own the desk. Would love to see it, but very different times. Still, the stage has not changed for the players, though, which I actually enjoy seeing. We always have the same backdrop of the white and black with the logos.
Yeah, it's a different one, though. Right now.
Yeah,
compared to that, but it's still the same style.
Yeah, and as sponsors change, we can see all the different reads. Still sticking with that hex.
Verses.
Yep, different verses.
Oh, StarCraft.
All the coming up on the right side, which we actually have kept, but just different layout for it now. Always the same, that transition. Nope, cutting back around.
Just some behind-the-scenes shenanigans with production.
Oh, yeah, we loved it. We love shenanigans. Also, the bottom of rank and team, we don't do that anymore. So that is a big change as well. But now we're back in the arena.
Oh, interesting. We have, I believe that was a YouTube video there for the back
when. Okay.
Instead of it like an embedded video, we have them now.
Alex coming on stage now for StarCraft 2 because no one else knows how to cast it. But both Protoss players? Wow. Sad. Gotta love the Zerg, man. Zerg Rush!
My brain is too small for the Zerg. The amount of micromanaging you need for that.
I got a whole hour into the first campaign of StarCraft 2 and was like, I can't do this. It's not how my brain works.
Yeah, I was adamant about the Zerg, and I just could not wrap my head around it. They are very intensive to play.
And also just such a different era when people actually played StarCraft 2 and RTSs were an alive genre in the gaming world.
Yeah, I have a feeling RTSs will come back eventually.
Eventually.
Everything's cycling. We're at Battle Royale. We're at the tail end of Battle Royales.
Famous last words.
No more.
Fortnite will go down swinging, but also just a UI that I'm pretty sure neither of us have ever seen because we haven't casted StarCraft 2 since probably this.
Yeah, I know we did. I'm pretty sure we did a couple games
here and there.
Yes, but I never was there for them. But they were few and far between. I know that.
Some people still trying to keep it alive that outside of Korea playing the game nonstop. But very different time. And I believe we're still having 3 casters the whole time. So even for an RTS that can be very slow paced, it's a lot of talking.
Yes, which, like I said, I think the 3 casters definitely keeps things livelier, because sometimes it gets a little hard with 2.
You just run into the issue on decks of the person in the middle looking back and forth nonstop, and you'd be like, that poor neck, just like nonstop back and forth, back and forth.
Keep alternating.
Yeah, going back to Ace and Cosmo Buster. Seems to be a classic Rocket League team. Ooh, standing now.
No desk required.
This is something we Doc on stage. Ooh, we love to see it. But also just a completely different space. So we must have traveled somewhere to play and then completely set everything up so we could also cast it.
Yeah, it looks like we brought like just a mini version of the arena with us here. We got a couple of the stage desks and the background lights that we still have. Some of those, I believe, they're the ones.
They're hanging around.
Oh, that is production.
So production's off to the right of Adam. So again, this is where you can see like a mirror of the broadcast on stream, which is something we try not to do now, but it's definitely interesting to see where we've come from. With the 3 Rocket League players on stage, Doc doing his best to coach in car soccer is what I was trying to think of. But brain fart. But yeah, a whole 2 members for production. A very different production room than what we run today.
Yeah, I saw someone there with a handheld camera too. I don't know if that was a production member or what the deal was with that, but that was pretty interesting.
Very different time, and some well-thanked upgrades came along of just, we have a tripod now. And we have a desk and chairs to sit behind, because staying and talking can only be comfortable for so long. But thankfully, once they cut away from this, you can just be like, all right, where's a chair? Drink your water. So we're cutting over to a face we have not seen in such a long time, but also now a solo on desk and at an angle, not just straight on off to the side. You can see where someone was previously there with the headset, but
yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed since I started here as well, is like we're just constantly evolving, like everything. Like we're not trying to stay stagnant, you know. It's like, oh, here's the new thing today, and it just, I mean, it's nice. It's definitely like we're always growing. It's just a lot to keep track of though sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And don't have the plexiglass because this is before COVID era when things were normal. But also just different camera angles for the stage with the solo StarCraft player with all 6 computers there, because that's normally where our Overwatch team is, with that taking over the esports scene for so long before StarCraft was out of the limelight. But very different. I wonder how often we casted StarCraft as we swapped things over to League. So this has to be not a too old version of League, because they have both Rakan and Zaya on top of the Kane, but this is also when our League team all had BSU in their name as well.
Yeah, so I believe we're probably approaching 2020. We're probably in 2019 here. Oh, wait. Yeah, never mind. I saw the January 22 on there and got a little mixed up.
No, this is right now. They're on stage. Like, what? But that would definitely be interesting. Also, the giant Game Pants Arena logo in the bottom right of the stream, that's something we don't do anymore, like, at all, because we intro it at the start. Whoa!
Oh, wow.
A whole 4 casters and Lovely, which is a face we know and love, but a very different time.
Yeah, no, just seeing everyone here now, it's like such a big change. Especially, I believe her name was Jolly. I only saw them cast like twice remote, and that was it. Okay.
Yeah, so Jolly's an old face we don't see anymore. Adam we rarely see. Glovely's pretty much all production now. So, and also we have the infinite casterverse of the back TV going down 3 times before we can't see it anymore. So, but this is now when the desk is right next to the stage by that pillar. So the desk has now moved for the 3rd time in this arena.
That's quite the desk they got there too. If it can hold all 4 of them, it looks like 2 desks pushed together, I believe.
Which is like the desk we have now, but might be changing soon enough. But we also don't have as much lighting around. You can tell there's very clearly like 2 giant lights right in front of them, just like glaring in their face, and poor Glovely is hiding behind the laptop, so it's not nearly as lit as he should be. So very different time for Boise State's. And like you mentioned, I believe this is 2019, so right at like before we came in, and this is not Boise State. Whoa.
Okay, we're back to Overwatch here.
Yeah, this must have been... All right, so this is, as production tells us, Mountain West in Vegas. So this is back when we could travel and continue to cast for it, but none of the casters that we know for this broadcast, but you can see Doc Haskell in the background making sure he gets all the camera time in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I don't believe we've had many teams travel since then. I mean, obviously COVID is
just shut all that down. But
yeah,
this is back when we had live events, could showcase all the college teams, travel, have fun, be a team in person, be able to, you know, congratulate each other and not be like, oh, there's glass here. Like, I can't, you know, it's a definitely huge change of scenery. And look, they're on desk, not shoulder to shoulder. You'll love to see the improvement.
They all got their room this time.
Yeah, for sure. But such a different... So we go down the time capsules. Very different time, but Boise State playing that 2019 Overwatch in the Mountain West, which we still compete in, and player interviews, but pre-recorded.
Oh, there's Maggie.
Maggie, and part of some of these shots we see in the commercials and advertisements for Boise State Esports. So they must have been recorded at the same time, or we just snagged them.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but it's pretty cool to see. Because I recognize, I believe some of these are from our outro, right?
Yeah. Oh, Doc Haskell even wearing the jersey. A whole 2 seconds of that. Again, can never be on the camera. We'd love to. Doc Haskell. A lot of these players were moved on.
I've heard that person's name before, Adopted Lemons. Their in-game name.
One of the many legends of Boise State. Back and forth. We don't do player... When I started before COVID hit, we did rarely do like team captain interviews for Overwatch. We would have like the team captain come join up on desk, and he would be, you know, usually the 3rd person on desk. So hopefully we can see the return of that soon once, you know, we can be free of all the pandemic ruling, you know, have the 2 to 3 people on desk. If the 3-person desk returns, most likely for a league, because that's the most intense game we play at the moment.
Yeah, a lot to keep track. Definitely has its perks to have a 3rd person.
Yeah, also player interviews with the enemy team when we did it in person, because we could do that in person. This is something that I hope we can return to, of just getting each perspective of it. Still with the same team lineup, but different headshots.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to just see that we... I didn't know this video, or I believe it's this one, where some of those shots are in our outro came from.
Most likely based off like the backgrounds and everything, but...
Oh, Black Box VR. We haven't done anything with them in a little bit, but I remember having to be part of production for one of these, and it took me, I think, the whole cast to figure out what was going on. There's quite a bit to it.
Yeah, the VR workout that it has become is definitely an interesting thing to watch and decipher, because you can tell the camera's clearly like up above his head, because he put his hands on his head and it was like the middle of the camera. So obviously like the perspective is off. So that's definitely disorienting, but a way different UI. So this must have been tail end.
Oh, there's our
Michael himself
setup. We still use this one, I believe. So we're starting to, yeah, this is VR 2020, winter 2020. So I was, at this point, was around then, I believe, just starting.
Yeah, this was pretty close to when I had my first cast, which was remote for Siege, I think it was. That was, yeah, it was 2020, but...
Actually, I may have been the TD for this one, if I'm thinking of it correct.
Was this the stream where you were figuring out the whole time?
This might be it, actually.
Oh, no. But the arena does look similar, because we not too recently changed the giant Call of Duty Modern Warfare we had in the background. I believe we just stapled over it, so if we tore those down, they might still be there. So we're getting very much closer to modern day Boise State esports production, but this is also when, you know, we had to change it over for COVID procedures where we have one on desk, one on the couch off to our side. So catching up to modern times.
This is about kind of what I've always known it as, so it's getting a little more familiar here.
Yes, same here, except for just never did black box, so I have a little idea of what's going on as a VR player, but even then I never did black box, so definitely a big change from. Also, their giant UI at the top is so confusing. I don't know what any of that means, but hopping back over to Overwatch, this is something we're a bit more comfortable with. The UI is still ever so slightly different. We have the top bar and the bottom. I believe this is still the Mountain West Series in Vegas, if I had to guess, because this is still the UNLV in Boise State.
Oh, yeah. Good catch there.
Yeah, there you go. Mountain West Championships. This must have just been when UNLV won the 2020 championships. Boise State getting second place. You saw Doc once again stealing camera light in the background for a solid 2 seconds, but
got to make his cameo somewhere.
This must have been at the very start of 2020 because it's all in person. So this must have been January, February of 2020.
Yeah, we just hit the very end of it right before we had to transition over.
Hats galore for the victors. Definitely a sad time for Boise State getting so close to the championships, but whoa, that desk. My man is all by himself in the corner.
Yeah, we were talking about everyone's too cramped, and now you got someone like over the state
like boom, boom,
level.
and then whoop. Oh, hey, look. There you go. Still in the limelight, as always.
Yeah.
He's my boss. I'm scared. What? Different times, but glad to know that tradition still continues, but
there they are.
Doc leading the charge, of course. Also, I wonder how many of these players are still around for the team, because I definitely recognizing the faces, but I can't put the names to it because that's not how my brain works.
Oh, there's Nerdy.
Nerdy's still around to this day. Was just playing in the game, actually.
Yeah.
So, Plato as well. Just trying to catch. Like,
yeah,
do I know you?
Exactly.
Just show me your back. That's all I need. But jerseys still the same, all black. We used to be all white and orange, but some different faces as well, coming and gone. I wonder how many of these players are also still playing for UNLV. That's one thing I want to know.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. That was pretty big. Oh, here we are. We got some Valorant.
So this must have been pretty recent, like within the last. So this is at the tail end of 2020, November. This was a charity event of us taking on ICCU, the Idaho Central Credit Union, in Valorant. It's kind of like the giving games that we just did in Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And yeah, I believe we just started picking up Valorant that semester, right? Or was it the semester before that?
That's pretty much like the time Valorant came out.
Yeah.
So it was just like, hey, new thing. Everyone jumps on board. And
okay, yeah, this was back when it was only a club, so.
Yeah, tail end of 2020, because it didn't become varsity until halfway through last year or something like that?
I believe so. And this was back when Maggie was the head coach for the Valorant team, or club team.
Yeah, you know Valorant way more than I do. I have not touched this game more than a single. I played it once, and that was it. But very different time. Are you seeing much differences from what Valorant currently is?
I mean, yeah, it's felt fairly the same. Obviously, like new metas with new agents, but like
same map.
Yeah, especially a lot of these players, not all of them anymore, but most of them, I believe, are still with our A team. I know we've lost a few recently, but they've been with us for a while.
Moving on to bigger and brighter futures in Valorant, hopefully. But you can also see Boise State roster and green team, so we'll be heading over to the last time capsule that we have for you tonight for this broadcast. We'll have to wait and see what it is with eager excitement. And it will be Here's the Storm! Woo! Where we are today.
Oh, here we are. We got the... We're talking about the box within the box here.
Making headway here, but just all we need to change here is bring back Here's the Storm. That's all I want. Come on now.
That's what you're looking back on.
That's
here.
all I want. We just need to bring it back. We can cast it on Battlefields of Eternity. Oh, some classic Here's the Storm, but where we were and where we are today. Your closing thoughts?
It's pretty crazy. It's like each one of these, we see more and more of what is in the stadium today and how everything runs, minus, the COVID stuff. It's all improved.
Yeah, definitely improved. No more shoulder-to-shoulder desk or incredibly spread-apart desk. But the question is, will we ever be able to beat 4 casters on a desk? I would love to see that stream.
Let's go and try and get a record here, like 10 casters on the desk.
Do we have 10 casters that we could put on a desk for a game?
We could just go take some people who are watching the games. Like, everyone, come on
hey,
up
you want
here.
to be on camera? Yeah, come sit on desk. We'll have just the widest shot in the world. Would definitely be a huge change, but definitely super exciting to see where we came from, where we are today. The giant desk that I'm on all alone today, the same laptop to this day, the giant space, how it's changed. So thank you so much for joining us on this trip down memory lane, and we will see you next broadcast.